the FBI director, and you don't know what that meant. That meant assassination.
Hello, everybody. David Schuster here. MAGA world is melting down over a photograph posted by former FBI Director James Comey referencing Donald Trump. And now there's this.
Fox News alert. Homeland Security just launched an investigation into former FBI Director James Comey.
On Instagram, Comey posted a photo of shells on a sandy beach that spell out 8647. He captioned the photo, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." Webster defines 86 as slang, meaning to throw out, to get rid of, or to refuse service to. It comes from 1930s soda counter slang, meaning that an item was sold out, and it was used because 86 rhymes with Nix.
Some of the president's supporters took it to mean that Comey was calling for President Trump's assassination.
Comey apologized and quickly took down the post. He wrote, "I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." A spokesperson for the Secret Service says, "We vigorously investigate anything that can be taken as potential threat against our protectees. We are aware of the social media post by the former FBI director, and we take rhetoric like this very seriously." Before the Secret Service even began its investigation and collected basic facts and evidence, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard went on Fox News.
Do you believe Comey should be in jail?
I do. Any other person with the position of influence that he has, people who take very seriously what a guy of his stature, his experience, and what the propaganda media has built him up to be, I'm very concerned for the president's life. We've already seen assassination attempts. I'm very concerned for his life. And James Comey, in my view, should be held accountable and put behind bars for this.
Put behind bars before even having a trial or before the Secret Service even investigates. The Secret Service reviews public threats to the president and other people all the time. Agents usually investigate the source of those threats and try to determine if the person actually has a plan or is collecting weapons to carry out their threat. If the person does not have a plan and it seems like they were just speaking out, the case usually goes nowhere, because the courts have long held that free speech rights extend to public criticism of the president or even saying you wish the president was eliminated. Donald Trump himself has exercised his free speech rights with violent rhetoric and apparent threats against his political opponents, including Liz Cheney.
Very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
That sounded like Trump was calling for Cheney's execution, and Trump's rhetoric could have inspired violence against Cheney. But now, according to the Trumpsters, it's James Comey who needs to be jailed before any investigation or trial. Even Fox host Jesse Watters seemed to understand what Comey may have been doing.
Do you believe that Comey is goading you guys to come after him because he wants to be a political martyr? He wants to be set up so he can say, "Oh, look, we were right. Donald Trump is a dictator. They're coming after me. They're arresting me. They're interrogating me. I was just using my free speech."
You know, whatever his intent, I will tell you that there is a guy in Georgia who was issuing threats on my life about a month ago, and he's in jail today. He has been indicted with a crime, as he should have been, and he is in jail as we speak. So whatever James Comey intent, he and people like him need to be held to account.
According to court records, the person threatening Gabbard made actual plans and was doing more than just exercising free speech. But clearly, that distinction is lost on Gabbard, which is especially alarming given that she is the director of national intelligence.
So it's guys like Comey and others who call the president the modern-day Nazi, people who are in great positions of influence, who are saying that President Trump poses an existential threat to our country.
Actually, when you throw away due process, trample on the Constitution, and ignore Supreme Court rulings, that is an existential threat to our rule of law, our system of justice, and our country.
These are people who hate democracy and hate the American people because they cannot stand that the people overwhelmingly chose to elect Donald Trump and send him back to the White House. So they are seeking other means to get their way and to try to remove him from that position.
And if that is Gabbard's logic, that Donald Trump had the support of the American people and therefore cannot be removed from the position, well, Donald Trump should now be removed. Because polls currently show him underwater with the American public. Only 39% approve of Trump's handling of his job, 47% disapprove. But let's move on from Tulsi Gabbard and her desire to have Comey jailed without any investigation. Fox News spoke with Donald Trump about Comey's photograph.
A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason, and he was hit so hard. Because people like me, and they like what's happening with our country. Our country has become respected again, and all this. And he's calling for the assassination of the president.
Obviously, he apologized and said he doesn't.
Well, he
wasn't calling
apologized
for
because he was
violence.
hit.
But
look, he's a very bad.
What do you want to see happen?
He
What do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. But I will say this: I think it's a terrible thing, and when you add his history to that. If he had a clean history, he doesn't. He's a dirty cop. He's a dirty cop. And if he had a clean history, I could understand if there was a leniency. But I'm going to let them make that decision.
So now it's up to the Justice Department to figure out what, if anything, should be done. This is the same Trump Justice Department that has flaunted court rulings, thrown out due process, and already launched an investigation into Trump critics. Here's my view. I don't think it was wise for James Comey to post that photograph. Comey surely knew that it meant eliminate Donald Trump. However, Comey has free speech rights just like the rest of us. And the Trump administration's over-the-top reaction is making the point that Comey may have been trying to amplify. The Trump administration routinely throws out the rule of law and our system of justice. That tyrannical and fascist Trump approach is an existential threat to our nation. So while the rock or shell formation said 86-47, what we are actually seeing, once again, is that it's our nation and the fabric of who we are as Americans that is being 86ed. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.